Do I really have to do this?
Hi everyone, welcome to Interview with the Scarlet. My name's Candy and I'm also known by my soul name Oranka Puni, and I'm your Scarlet from Cosmic Scarlet Light. Now, I am the founder of Cosmic Scarlet Light, also a spiritual teacher, as well as a spirit channeler and a card reader. So more than that, I'm also just a human who is walking in a very spiritual magical journey. And in this series, we are going to do interviews with different spiritual people, practitioners, healers, card readers, or even channel mediums from all around the world to share their stories about spirituality and their life. So before you begin, this is our first episode. So before I became a full-time spiritual teacher, I was actually spending 20 years in the corporate world, working 9 to 5 just like anybody else that you can find most of the time in the world. Now, interestingly, from the outside, everything seems to look perfectly normal. You know, I had a very good job, I am very well paid, and in fact, at one point, I was even considered very successful, whereby, I lead a team working in a regional role, and I had very nice colleagues, very nice friends. I was earning a very good salary, whereby life was really very comfortable. But what's interesting is that on the inside, all these years, even though I have struggled, I have fight through my way through the corporate ladder to move up to where I was, I always felt that something was missing. It's like, how do you actually say it? Like, there's something deeper, something more magical than just working. It kind of always reminds me the song by Stacey Orico, There's Gonna Be More to Life. So back in those days, I'm always trying to, be on the lookout for more than just work. So a lot of days when I'm not working, I'm actually exploring a lot of many other things. I tried yoga, I do a lot of traveling, I like to do adventure sports. So from all these things, from all these experiences, my awakening didn't come true. In fact, a lot of people like to talk about spiritual awakening. Now, let me share with you how my spiritual awakening comes. In fact, it didn't come as like a aha moment or something big. It actually come in layers through different experiences, different synchronicities that occur in my life, different kind of healing that I've been through, different experiences that I actually went through. And in fact, this also brings a lot of confusion, a lot of times whereby I actually got myself into a lot of what I call mess and wondering if I'm actually on the right track. There are so many nights whereby I just sit down in a very lost, in a very I don't know what to do moment, whereby I don't know what's next for myself, in the sense that, you know, life suddenly becomes so blur and so dead that I don't know what's next for me in my life. And this is very interesting, whereby I actually experienced a lot of what we call spirituality awakening since my very early days when I was in my teenage years, whereby I had very weird dreams and nobody can answer me why am I having all these dreams. And I remember when I was in my early 20s, that was when I came to realize there was this website called dreammoods.com. Now, this website is a lifesaver, and this website is actually a very first part of my spiritual journey that became like a game changer for me, because I remember in my 20s I had all sorts of funny weird dreams. I can dream that I'm out on a mission, I can dream that I am killing zombies, I can dream even a very special dream that I can never forget till date, whereby I dreamt of someone who was totally looking very different from how I used to be when I was back then, coming forward to me and tell me that this is how I will look like when I'm 35. And interestingly, when I look back at myself, Okay, fast forward like 10 years later, when I was 35, I truly looked like that. And that actually was also one part of my spiritual awakening during the early days, whereby I was actually searching for answers. I was actually searching for why I need to be in this world. I was always searching for reasons why do I have to go through all this kind of different experiences, different kind of pain in my life, different kind of setbacks, or even all these weird dreams that has been going on in my head. It has always been a question that I have been raising since I was a teenager, whereby when I get all this kind of dreams, when I get all this kind of weird messages, what are they trying to tell me? So I was very thankful that in my 20s, when I saw dreammoods.com, I actually managed to get a few interpretation of my dreams and what it actually means and what it actually signifies. So it kind of opened up to more things in my life. Then came tarot reading, whereby I remember very clearly back then, tarot reading was such a taboo over here in my life, whereby people will always tell me, look, don't touch the tarot cards because tarot decks has evil spirits. Now, that is totally a wrong thing, okay? As how I have learned over the years of my experiences working with card decks, working with tarot decks, working with oracle decks. In fact, the cards have energy, and it's about how you work with the card decks over the years that will make changes in your life. And I remember, through my whole entire earlier stage of my spiritual awakening, I work a lot with card readings, tarot card readings. I work a lot in deciphering my dreams, and that slowly brings a lot more clarity. That also brings a lot more in terms of knowing what is actually my life purpose. But that didn't actually bring me to where I was. It was really all the way until when I was 35 that something really happened. And that was when I came to realize that, all the numbers that I have always been seeing, they are actually angel numbers. And that was also my first encounter to attend an angel healing workshop, which changed my life entirely inside out since then. So what exactly happened was during the angel healing workshop, I get to learn exactly how to connect and work with the higher divine beings. I get to learn how to work with angels. And from that, it opens up an entirely new door for me. And that was also when I started, attending more workshops to work with the other elementals like the dragons. And that was how it actually brings me fast forward to become a spiritual teacher. And today I am actually an angel teacher. In fact, I am an angel master teacher where I am qualified to train people who will be interested to connect with the angels to be able to facilitate their own workshops and to be able to conduct their own angel events from all around the world, virtually via Zoom or physically in a classroom setting. And that really, sometimes when I look back in terms of my life, this is something whereby if you ask me 10 years, 20 years ago, is this something that I see myself coming? I would say no. I have never, foresee myself becoming a spiritual teacher. In fact, I'm a full-time spiritual teacher for the past 2 years. I'm 41 this year, so I have been doing this for quite a while. And until today, I still quite amazed how this magical journey unfolds for this past 6-7 years that makes my life so magical. So apart from my story of becoming an angel teacher, I am a teacher with the Diana Cooper School of White Light, whereby I host and facilitate workshops, and as well as a Money Reiki life coach, whereby I host and facilitate Money Reiki trainings, Money Reiki courses, as well as life coaching. On top of that, I'm also a spirit channeler, which I do have one-to-one consultations with people who would like to seek guidance with their spirit guides, with their higher beings that are around them, or they would like to seek clarity with the Ascended Masters. Okay, these are all part of my jobs apart from where I am right now. And I also work a lot of my intuitive senses, which is why I also teach people how to read cards intuitively. And hence, I also have a course called the Be a Channel Intuitive Card Reading course. So I have been doing all this for the past 2 years. And to me, I think the most satisfying thing that I can say is I become my light myself. And at the same time, I also bring this light to be shined upon many that I touch life across. And at the same time, I feel that, at the core of everything that I'm doing, I am actually allowing people to see their own light, to understand their worth and their truth of why they are being on earth, and most importantly, to bring back the life that they should be having. Now, in case you're wondering why am I actually doing this, now this actually has to go all the way back to February this year when I was attending a training in Dharamshala, India. And during this training to work with the Ascended Masters, I had a meditation to connect with the Ascended Masters Lord Kutumi. Interestingly, during this meditation, during this visualization, I get this message from Lord Kutumi that I will need to create this podcast. I will need to create this podcast series so that, I need to be featured. And I'm gonna be featuring many other people just like myself who are going through your spiritual awakening or spiritual journey, or many of our people in the spiritual community who are actually doing all this service, doing all this, bringing all this light into the world. Our spiritual life coaches, our card readers, our spirit mediums, our spiritual teachers, or any Reiki teachers, whoever soever. I would like to actually, feature them so that they can be seen by the world as well. And no, this is not just an interview podcast. This is not just any podcast. This is gonna be a space where all these spiritual teachers, healers, spiritual channelers, everyone, they will be able to come together, share their journeys, share their life experiences, and also to spread their light, their truth, and their love to every one of you who's watching. So, in fact, that is how Interview with the Scarlet was born. And in this whole series, we will be inviting guests from all over the world to talk about our spiritual awakening journeys, to talk about our healing journeys, how we actually heal ourselves, how we actually overcome our different challenges in our life. We have different modalities that we work in, and what are the different modalities that we are expertise of, or even real life experiences or real life encounter that they may actually been through. Okay, but maybe some of them may have been through things like what I've encountered, dreaming of myself coming back to me 10 years ago, telling me that, I'm gonna look like this, I'm gonna be like this. Real life experiences will also be shared, because spirituality is not just about love and light and wisdom. In fact, I have to be very honest, a lot of times spirituality can be very messy, very confusing, and it brings so much transformative energy that sometimes at the end of the day, when you look at yourself in the mirror, you can't even recognize yourself anymore. And if you are on your own awakening journey, just like I do in my early days when I was all alone in my 20s and trying to figure out what exactly is all these things happening to me, or if you're just curious about spirituality and want to, what I always say, capo about other people's spiritual journey, you are so welcome to this channel, to this podcast. And thank you very much for being here with me in this very first episode of Interview with the Scarlet. I will always be very thankful if you could actually like, subscribe, and come back to this channel more. Follow me for more updates as well. And just remember, the universe is always has your back. And no matter what, magic is real. Your light is also needed in the world. So I'll see you in the next episode of Interview with the Scarlet. Bye.